Welcome everyone again. It's very nice to see you today. First of all, I thank you to Petra for this invitation to give this speech. Yes, so we are today to hear something interesting, I hope, about the topic which is called late glacial palaeoenvironmental changes inferred from the deposits of two neighbouring landslide fens, Kotoń and Klaklowo, the Outer Western Carpathians, South Poland, a multi-proxy approach. As Petra introduced me, I am a PhD student, and this is a part of my PhD project. I am here for 3 months. Some more information exactly what I do here I will give later. And this topic which I am going to present is a work of many authors, and other co-authors are presented here. And we are scientists from different institutions based in Kraków, from Institute of Nature Conservation, Institute of Botany, of Polish Academy of Sciences, but also from Jagiellonian University and others. This project is realized thanks to National Science Center in Poland. It is designated as Preludium BIS 2. And this internship, this 3 months, is from the funding source of Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange, NAWA. So I also say many thanks to the funding source at the beginning. Okay, let's start. And I would like to start with this picture. This picture is one of 2 sites which are mentioned in the title. This is Klaklowo. So before I went into this topic, when I was walking through the forests of the Beskids in our region near Kraków, and I was like meeting these kind of places, I was always astonished that, oh, so nice meadow in the forest, not exactly knowing what is the beneath of that. And only later I realized that this is not a meadow, this is a fen, because when you put your feet inside, then you can really be swallowed by the ground and maybe even lose your shoes. But this came with the knowledge later that exactly beneath my feet there is sometimes a couple of meters of peat, which is not only some resources to burn to have energy as a fuel, but it archives incredible stories of the past. In our case, this is a quite recent past, and just the discovering, revealing what the story is written there is really a fascinating adventure. And I would like to start from this personal point of view, which is about me as well, because I graduated in geology, so I am geologist. And I also graduated in geology and mining, and until 2017, actually, I was working in oil and gas. I was a mining geologist, and this was totally some other world. But in 2019, something happened, and I started to work for nature conservation. And in 2021, I got this opportunity to make a PhD project in the topic of paleoecology of peatlands in the Carpathians region. So quite like a turning point of the career. And with this background, I think also that's why I appreciate so much these places and the project, which is my PhD. And the full title of this project is the reconstruction of the late glacial paleoenvironmental changes of the Polish Western Carpathians on the base of lithological and macrofossil analysis of the selected landslide fen deposits. I have 2 supervisors. Professor Margielewski is geologist, and Professor Stachowicz-Rybka is botanist, paleobotanist. So 2 approaches and a kind of interdisciplinary research. So I joined as a geologist, and during this PhD I got practiced on plant macrofossil method as my specialization. Okay, so I don't know how many of you is familiar with paleoecology. I guess everyone, yes? No? Okay. So there will be some basic information, so maybe some for more advanced person it will be something more obvious, but I would like to start with these very basic things, which you have seen this term in my title, landslide fan. So exactly what is landslide fan? This is the two sites which I am investigating in my project. They are a type of landslide fan environment. To explain that, I would like to start with explanation of what is a landslide. Of course, we all know this is some kind of type of gravitational movements of masses of the Earth, yes. And with this example, like some fresh landslide, we can easily conclude and see that this is characterized by very, very rough terrain, rough topography, very diverse, dynamic environment. But it is important to keep in mind that actually what we investigate in paleoecological study, it is a landslide which was formed like 1,000 years ago. And today, if we want to look for landslide like this, it is not like that. It doesn't look like that. It is overgrown with forest. The topography of landslide is already a little bit reshaped. So actually we don't look for this kind exactly, but it used to look like that in the past. And what is characteristic, this very diverse topography gives opportunity to some depressions to be formed. And especially, this is some example how the landslide is like a form of a landslide with all of the elements of the landslide. So from our point of view, important are some depressions within this topography, and especially the depression which is formed just beneath the so-called main scarp. This will be the case of both of my two sites. And then in this depression, we can have some lake to develop, or some mire. And in case of my sites, these are both fen. So these are the mire which are fed by mineral-rich groundwater. But specific characteristic of this kind of environment is that actually it can change pretty fast from one type of habitat to another. So if we have this kind of some idealistic schema about lake fen bog succession, and we start from the depression which is filled with water, with accumulation of some minerogenic material, which especially in this kind of environment of the landslide, it is very dynamic. There is a lot of this minerogenic material available, and these dynamic slow processes easily can deliver this material to the depression, to the, let's say, lake at the beginning. And also when it becomes overgrown with vegetation, aquatic vegetation, some transitional zone vegetation, it also becomes filled with organic sediments. So another feature of this kind of environment of landslide fen is that this is sequence of changing organic mineral deposits, and sometimes of very big thickness. And in the end, or with some episodes, also this more acidic environment can take a bigger part in this the whole history development. And this is then it is dominated by sphagnum mosses. So we already know something about the place, something about the sites. What are the specific? What is the specific features of the sites? And now I would like to tell you about the time, because I said at the beginning that okay, there are some deposits, like a few meters of peat, and they are they can reveal some story, yes, but this story has some time interval of the past. And in my project, we are focusing on the so-called late glacial period, and this is approximately 15,000 years ago until 11.7 thousand years ago, so the onset of Holocene. So late glacial is the time between the last glacial maximum and the beginning of the Holocene. And according to the Greenland, according to the Greenland ice core oxygen isotopic curve, we can see that this is reflecting the temperatures changes, that this period of late glacial, it was some period of very big changes in temperature. It was very unstable, and it is characterized with Belling Aleret interglacial, or some warming period. And after that, just before the Holocene, there is a younger Dryas, colder period. And in this Greenland ice core terminology, they have some names like GS1 and GI1. And what you can see here is that actually within this warmer period of Belling Aleret, there are these shorter climatic fluctuations, shorter cooling period, which can be observed in this record, but not very often they are well recorded in some other sites. And we are very lucky with our landslide fens from our region, because they exactly also record these short lasting climatic oscillations. And we are especially interested in this GI1D, which is in traditional nomenclature called older Dryas. So this will be also the focus of today's presentation. So yes, this is the period of time, late glacial, with these climatic oscillations of Belling, older Dryas, Aleret, and younger Dryas. But we'll focus on only some of them. And now I would like to switch to study area. So where are these incredible sites? I hope some of you have been to Poland, and especially to Kraków. This is my city. It is located somewhere here. So if you go south from Kraków, road to Zakopane, it's very, actually there the distance should not be measured in kilometers, but in time, because it is usually so big traffic. And so we joke, this is not like distance measured in kilometers, but more or less like 1 hour and some minutes if you move from Kraków southward. You enter this Outer Western Carpathians province, and then Outer Western Carpathians are divided into some ranges, which are generally called Beskid. So there are plenty of types of Beskid, Beskid Żywiecki, Beskid Śląski, and in this case it's called Beskid Makowski. It is very well visible because first we drive through some foothills, and then there is some morphological edge visible in the landscape, and then we enter these mountains, which are up to 800 meters in altitude. So it's not so much impressive, but still it is visible. And these very innocent mountains, I would say, they really have hidden these perils of landslide fens. So the first range which you approach is so-called Pasmo Koskowej Góry, with some culminations. And these culminations, there are two, like most important from our point of view, is Kotoń and Klaklowo. And Kotoń is also the name of one of our sites because it is located just beneath this peak. The main river in this region is Raba, so it flows north, with some tributaries joining it on the way. Yeah, so this is some conception how it looks in the terrain, and there are two sites: Kotoń landslide fen and Klaklowo landslide fen. And although they have very similar deposits in terms of what period of time they document, they differ in many aspects as well. And it is important to introduce you with these differences. So Kotoń is located a little bit higher. This is 730 meters above sea level. It has the southern exposition. And this is a zone which is influenced mostly by this ridge or the crest of this range. And also hydrology is there is no permanent streams within the landslide zone. I will show you in the picture in a minute. Whereas Klaklowo is located at the lower position. It is 472 meters above sea level. It has northern exposition, and it is located in some middle slope position. And it could also have some influence from the valley zone of a stream. And there are some phenomena like temperature inversion, for example. So also, this is to show that this kind of habitats can have really some different characteristics. Yeah, but this is not the end. When we take a look on the landslides, yeah, I told you that these old landslides, they are not so visible to us, but when we take a numerical terrain model, it is easier. And here is a Klaklowo landslide with this green area, which is the fen itself, Klaklowo fen. And it is embodied with this dashed line. So you can see, yes, that there is actually some visible features of the landslide zone. And in case of Kotoń, it is some not very typical shape of a landslide. It is more like a wedge shape. And this is all connected also with the bedrock geology, which is a little bit different because Klaklowo landslide, it cuts through many geological formations, whereas Kotoń landslide is developed only within a so-called thick bedded Magura sandstone. And I can show you, like I have only for Klaklowo geological map. So there is many formations in the bedrock of this landslide, whereas Kotoń is on the other side of this, but only within this number 3, which is sandstone, very resistant to erosion. And when it comes to the size of the fen itself, so this now we have some enlargement of this area. The both sides have similar size of this depression filled with fen. In case of Klaklowo, it is 100 meters long and 40 meters wide. In case of Kotoń, it is 90 meters long and 40 meters wide. But when we take a look on the surrounding, like the nearest surrounding of these sites, it differs as well, because Klaklowo has some kind of semicircular arrangement of these walls of the headscarp of the landslide, and it is important from the point of view of delivery of minerogenic material to the fen. And in case of Kotoń, it is more like on one side, and we could expect the more influence from the western cliff of this headscarp element. And I also mentioned about this hydrology. So in case of Kotoń, we have no permanent streams present day, whereas in Klaklowo there are some more streams, and definitely there is one bigger stream which is draining the fen and going down the slope. And here are some cross sections. They are along these red lines here. So in case of Klaklowo, we have the depth of deposits, 3.7 meters of mineral organic deposits. In Kotoń, there were many trials of drilling in this site. So like average depth is 4 meters, 4.5. But the deepest we drilled was 5 meters of this mineral organic deposits. And also on this cross section, you can see that this location of this Kotoń site is quite unusual, because we could maybe expect to have a fen developed in the lowest point of this bigger depression of the landslide, let's say, but it developed here. This is both thanks to some colluvial material of the landslide, which blocked it in that way, and also they are the elements visible today in the topography of the landslide. Now about materials and methods. I would like to start with the project goals, because I introduced you with a general topic of my research project, but here are some more specific goals. I reformulated them a little bit so to be more user-friendly, let's say. And one of the most important goals is to see or check the differences in palaeoenvironmental record of both sites, which between Kotoń and Klaklowo, which have these different hypsometric positions and all different, all these features which are like distinguishing them from one from another. The second point is to see how in a case of very small fen, because these are very small environments, how it is only one core with macrofossil analysis enough to be representative of such a small habitat. And in this case, we drill more cores from different parts of the fen, and we see what is the result. Next point is about this short climatic oscillations, short climatic cooling, mostly older dryas, which was up to 200 meters, 200 years long. And yes, as I said, it is very rarely recorded in the sites across Europe. So this is very good situation to study this topic. And some secondary topic is about Thermophilus plant refugia or late glacial refugia, which could like exist here during this late glacial period. And also the last sub topic is about, is it possible that some tephra horizons also accumulated in this kind of environment? Yeah, but these are like of the secondary plan. And now I go to methods themselves. And of course, who is familiar with paleoecological research knows that the best part is right now. So this is a field. But I of course believe that all people who are botanists, geologists, and this like working with the environment, they just pretty enjoy the outdoor field work. So drilling and coring, it is a time when we go to the peatland and we drill a core. We do it with the so-called in-store sampler, and thanks to this equipment, we can collect the whole sequence, the whole 3 or 5 meters in our case, in the segments of 50 centimeters. So this fragment is 50 centimeters long, and we can already see at this stage that this deposits is mostly organic, some peat deposits, but also with some minerogenic inserts. So this is a sequence of changing deposits. And there are two main methods in my project. One is loss on ignition analysis, and the second one is, so this is this geological one, and the second one is plant macrofossil analysis. And here is Petra's great supervision also in this topic, but I will show you also the results of our work here in Brno, which is fantastic. And yes, so these two main methods, they are the basis, but this is not all, because we have multi-proxy, so there is a lot of methods incorporated, but of course, these are the contributions from other specialists as well. So in case of loss on ignition method, it consists of cutting the core for the slices in this case 2.5 centimeters long intervals, drying, and then burning in the muffle furnace at temperature 550 Celsius degrees to burn organic matter. And then we see what is the loss of organic matter, and the result of such process is then visualized in the form of some so-called loss on ignition curve. This is along the core. We are reading from the bottommost part because this is the oldest one. And the lower the value, the less organic it used to have. So in this case, we had some very minerogenic bottom part of the of this profile, and then later this organic part, organic component started to dominate, but still with some minerogenic inserts. And this is also the clue for interpretation, because in this kind of environment, when I showed you that there are these walls of rocks so near to this depression, accumulation depression, it is very easily, in case of some events like heavy rains, which trigger this material to be transported to the fen, we can conclude based on these mineral horizons that there was like some maybe humidity growth in climate, and more mineral matter was delivered to the depression. In case of plant macrofossil analysis, similar samples we take and we disintegrate it, and we put it through the mesh. And the sieve grid is 0.2 millimeters, so 200 micrometers. And this is enough to catch some plant remains. So maybe this is more familiar to common people that yes, if we find something like this, we can easily like recognize some needles in this case. And these needles belongs to Pinus sylvestris. And this is done based on separation and identification under stereo microscope using many atlases, skis, databases, and of course the collections of seeds, fruits, and other plant elements. And thanks to that, we sample by sample receive some data sets, which for every sample of particular depth, there is the whole spectrum of taxa, plant taxa identified, and they are also grouped according to the plant groups, habitats, or some other key. And here we have some trees and shrubs, some representative of fresh and moist habitats, and some aquatic plants. So we have to count these remains, these macrofossils of plants in some way. And then we visualize this kind of table in the form of macrofossil diagram. And then we try to interpret this data. So in this case, we had on the bottom most part some grasses, then some aquatic plants in this blue rectangle, and some trees and shrubs represented by birch and pine. So this is very simplified approach, of course. So grasses, so maybe some tundra grassland stage in the past, then aquatic plants, so maybe some lake stage, lake development, and then more trees and shrubs, so overgrowing of the lake and some stage of peatland. So this is very simplified, but thanks to that, we can look at our site, first Klaklowo, and we know what was going on in the past. So Klaklowo, only just a reminder which one is which one. Klaklowo is this more amphitheater-like position. And this is very nice that all these features of the landslide are visible also, even though it's forested today. So in case of Klaklowo, I would like to focus on the bottommost interval, which is mostly minerogenic. This is 250 up to 365 centimeters depth. Here some methods were used, including grain size analysis to say what is the composition of the sediment, geochemical analysis, including the geochemical composition of the sediment, one of the most important methods is radiocarbon dating, because this gives us exactly what is the age of the sediment which we investigate. And based on AMS radiocarbon dating, we also construct age depth model, which help to interpolate the age between the sampling, the depths where we collected the samples and we received the date. Pollen analysis also is something what I guess you are familiar with, and this tells us about the regional vegetation changes in the past. Plant macrofossil analysis tells us more about the local vegetation changes and habitat changes. And all these data sets can be, of course, processed in some statistical way. Here I will show only some examples of results of cluster analysis and zonation, which we received for these data sets. So the results for Klaklowo, it is lithology, loss on ignition results, and pool and zone. But this is for the previous research, because research we are doing now, it is like present-day research, but this site was already investigated more than 20 years ago. And I also want to give you some comparison with these previous results. This violet rectangle shows exactly this depth extent, which I would like to focus on. And according to the previously done palynology, this is Belling, Older Dryas, and Alleret climatic oscillations. And it is mostly minerogenic. Only here we enter the stage of development, which is of the fen type. Here is the result of grain size and geochemical data. A lot of information. I will focus only on the most important. So grain size analysis told us that we have quite uniform sediment type, which is mostly sealed. Only in the bottommost part there is some delivery of coarser material like sand. So here we can conclude some more dynamic slow processes around the basin. And this data set was zonated into 4 paleoecological stages of development, with some subdivision in one of these stages. And these dynamic slow processes are characteristic for the bottommost stage. What is interesting here is that we use some, I don't present the whole elemental results of this analysis, only some part. And here we did some measurements of elements which are usually used in investigating the soil science, which are used in soil science. But some interesting feature is that one ratio of nitrate to ammonium nitrogen gave us a clue that in this first zone, it seemed that there was some like a good oxygenation of the environment. It was confirmed by some other indicator, which is ratio of iron to mangan. And it also points at some good, some aerobic conditions of during the accumulation of this material. This is important because I will explain you just in a minute why what could be this be related to. And another feature is this calcium carbonate precipitation, which took place during the stage 3B. It also will show some very nice correlation. So these are the most important features here. A lot of AMS radiocarbon dates. Some of the ages were overestimated, and this was mostly about the samples which were collected from this interval with calcium carbonate. So maybe some reservoir effect we could receive by that. But these dates were not included in the age-depth model, which overall gave a good result, the reliable model with the agreement above 66%. Some like a little bit varying sedimentation rate, And the time span for this violet rectangle is between 14,800 or 500 years calibrated BP until 13,500 calibrated years before present. So this is the time span which we investigate in this interval. And now a challenge, because this is the part of the Pullen diagram, which actually were with a lack of Pullen in the bottommost part. Based on that, we could not make a traditional local Pullen assemblage zone, which could be correlated also with the climatic oscillations. So not good. I can say this was not good. But we noticed that it took place during this first stage, and we correlated that with these conditions of good oxygenation of the environment. So this could be one of the reasons why this Pullen was not preserved in the sediment. Other could be also that there was very poor vegetation at that moment. So this is like a bit of mystery. But we divided this fragment of a Pullen diagram into a zone of lack of Pullen and later poor in Pullen zone. And only from this depth the Pullen occurred in like normal amount possible to make some interpretation. But plant macrofossil diagram brought all the data which we could not like receive with Pullen. I mean, it was so rich that it is not possible to show it on one slide. So this is divided into 3 parts. So it should be one by one. This plant macrofossil diagram, it is very rich in taxa, in plant taxa, and only some examples for trees and shrubs group. We have a dominance of birch species like Betula pubescens, Betula nana. In the zone of mire vegetation, some transitional zone between terrestrial and aquatic environment, we have a lot of sedges represented by Carex rostrata, Carex diandra. And also aquatic plants are very abundant, represented by Aharace. These are macroalgae group, but also some Potamogeton, Batrachium, so also a lot of animal remains. And now some trial on interpretation of this data. So we start with this zone 1, which is quite poor in macrofossils. And it was already connected with some previous data that this in age correlates well with this Belling climatic oscillations, Belling climatic warming, although here it seems it was like not very friendly conditions for a living, for organisms. So sparse vegetation, water body, probably with fluctuating water level, which resulted also with these aerial conditions. So this is the first zone. The second zone for dry and fresh and moist habitats. It is with the occurrence of some species like Dryas octopetala, Poaconfer alpina, Androsace hamaeasme. And this is correlated with older dryas. So this short climatic cooling, which is a dry and continental-like climate. So perhaps these species, they represent this dry and open land habitats. But unfortunately, we don't have this Pullen here to confirm it with like very strong proof. And here is the like a compilation of these different data sets. The most important macrofossil data with some Pullen data, and also correlation with these chronologies, which are from Greenland ice cores, so division for climatic oscillations, and more traditional division for this Belling older dryas Alleret climatic oscillations. And here you can see how these paleoecological stages, they correlate with these climatic oscillations. And some just few more information on Outer Dryas itself. So in the area around the fen, it was some kind of steppe tundra, dry and open land. But in the depression itself, in this fen, it was a moment when the water body, which existed during belling earlier stage, it shallowed. It shallowed. This is based on the macrofossil data observations, and this shallowing resulted in formation of some kind of short-lasting fen, also perhaps with oscillating water level. And after that, when the warming of the climate of Alaret started, then we have this like a spread expansion of aquatic organisms, represented by Haratse, by Putamogeton, Batrachium, a lot of animal remains, Porifera, Ostracoda, Daphnia. So this is really a huge expansion of the organisms. And just after that, we also had the expansion of sedges and later the terrestrial plant succession. So first, which could signalize this boreal forest development of Alaret. And Betula pubescens appeared in Klaklowo around 13,800 calibrated years BP, whereas Pinus sylvestris around 13,650 years calibrated BP. And now some trial of reconstruction, visual one. So shortly, belling, development of water body jeden, one. Yes, I mix with Polish now. Development of water body one. This was maybe not a long time after the formation of the landslide itself. So very like severe environmental conditions, poor aquatic life, a lot of dynamic processes around. Then Outer Dryas, stage number 2, basin drainage, shallowing, and formation of a short-lasting fen with some aquatic plants and some, for example, trees around. Then Alaret, climatic warming, and in first substage of this stage, the colonization of this environment, which become again a water body. It deepened. So purely aquatic conditions. And in the second substage of this, stage 3, it is water body 2 overgrowing. So all these successions which I showed you in the previous diagram. And then this water body 2 becomes overgrown, and it turned into fen, long-lasting fen, which will be actually almost up till Holocene and almost up till now. Yes, so this is still Alaret. There is a lot of information which can be drawn from Haratse group, ecology. I would like to maybe emphasize only that this group is the dynamic of this group, which is forming so-called Haratse meadows, so widespread plant communities of this group, and they react really. They are connected with this system of climate, catchment, water body links. Yes, so they actually can reflect what is going on from the climatic point of view as well. And in Klaklowo, we had Haratse preserved in the form of oospores and also calcified oospores. These are these white calcified, very nice macrofossils. And this correlates greatly with the occurrence of calcium carbonate content, increasing content in our profile. So this calcium carbonate was related to precipitation due to Haratse activity. And some information can be withdrawn. I will not go into details so much now. Maybe later if we still have some time. There is a question of, there was alkaline environment in this water body too, so this Hara could So this could precipitate due to Harace photosynthetic activity. What was the source of these calcium carbonate ions? So we could try to conclude that we had this geological formation in the bedrock, which are very often with calcareous cement. These are also some limestones. Yeah, so some type of rock where this calcium carbonate is present. And this could be during Allerad warming, when also the permafrost remnants, the last stage of thawing of the permafrost, could enforce this process. The leaching of this rock by water was intensified. So this groundwater was supplying the fen, the lake, and later the fen, so could be this source. Also, later it could change that the domination of groundwater supply diminished with time, and precipitation supply took greater control. And then this supply of calcium carbonate ions decreased, and also maybe it influenced the Harace dynamics. Now Kotoń. Here Kotoń is also the bottommost part of the profile, and it is 300 up to 500 centimeters depth. A little bit less methods I would present here, only macrofossil analysis, radiocarbon dating, HDEF model, and loss on ignition and pollen analysis. So we had a very good AMS radiocarbon dates in a term that they fit into sequence. We didn't receive overestimated ages, like in case of Klaklowo. And this gave us quite reliable model with the agreement over 91%. The time span, sorry, I don't control this mouse. The time span was similar like for Klaklowo, so 14,300, 500 meters, calibrated BP, to 13,500 years calibrated BP. And if you take a look on this lithology and loss on ignition changes, also you can see that it is very minerogenic in the lower part, but later in the upper part, organics content is growing with some, still with some mineral inputs. But this is exactly similar story, like we had some water body stage at the beginning, and later it was transforming into long-lasting fen. So this could be already concluded from loss on ignition data. And again, a plant macrofossil diagram, which is also very extended. However, some, like a number of taxa is smaller comparing to Klaklowo. And these data sets, which is this depth interval 300 up to 500 centimeters depth, we also separated into some stages of paleoecological development. And very similarly to Klaklowo, we have 4 stages with some sub-stages for the first and for the fourth one. And for example, it can be seen that already the first stage is also similar to Klaklowo, which is not much vegetation, this aquatic vegetation, because you can see that this part of diagram is really poor in macrofossils. And only in the stage number 2, something happened that aquatic vegetation expanded, and we have very similar organisms. We have, again, dominance of Harace, although not so many spores like in case of Klaklowo. We have Potamogeton alpinus, Batrachium, and a lot of animal remains. So very similar situations, but not at the same time, because in Klaklowo this aquatic succession took place in later in the next stage. So it is limited here, and also during this second stage, it seems that also some dry habitats existed, like in the close vicinity of the of this water body, because there are some signals from Heliophilus herps, plant taxa like again Dreas octopetala, Androsacea himalayasme, and some others. Yes, so this would be the stage number 2, and stage number 3 and 4 is actually, in case of Klaklowo, it was a water body again, but in case of Kotoń, it is going directly to the stage, to the fen stage. This water body is changed into a fen. And here is time for results from this internship. And some reminder about who is taking part in that. So this is, of course, me. January, February, March in Brno, which is fantastic city, really. I stay in Institute of Botany of Czech Academy of Sciences under supervision of Petra. Petra is the great specialist in macrofossil, not only ecology, paleoecology, everything. And she did such a great work to help this Kotoń profile, this the bottommost interval, to be supplemented with bryophyte identification. And this is all thanks to also Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange, who is a funding source of this internship. And I guess you are all students, or most of you are students still, so I recommend definitely go for internship. Not you don't have to go far away, but still it is so experience which cannot be like make any other way. So go, go to Brno. I recommend Brno. And here what we have done with Petra is, this is a fragment of this macrofossil diagram of Kotoń, but also supplemented with bryophyte, so mosses identification. This is this part of a diagram limited with a green rectangle. What you can see, stage number 1, A and B, there is nothing of vegetation. For this, I just selected some taxa to show what was going on. And mosses were not there, also in this first stage. And they appeared with this aquatic succession in stage number 2. And already we recognized some species which, after counting, they fit so perfectly with this previously distinguished stages that this was like, wow, really, it is some incredible group of organisms that they know how to fit to the stages. Yeah, of course, I'm joking. But you can see for this second stage, this bryophyte composition is dominated by Sarmentipnum trichophyllum, and it ends up exactly the same time where Harace is declining from the basin water body. There are also some species which are less represented in this, but each of these stages is dominated by some, like one dominating species. Here is Sarmentipnum trichophyllum. Later we have Calliergon giganteum, and in the fourth stage it is Sarmentipnum exanulatum. And now some nice photos Petra done for this species. So Sarmentipnum trichophyllum, yes, it confirms this water body stage with aquatic organism succession, with probably surrounding of steppe tundra specific for this older dryas cooling. And yes, this species of moss, it is like aquatic species, so it thrives in water. So we can imagine some kind of maybe tundra, small pool with this mosses domination. The third stage, it is a stage when Calliergon giganteum is dominating, but also some others are quite big share. Palustrella decipiens, Phyllonotis calcarea. These are all species which are calciphyllous. Yes, so this, for now, we distinguish this stage as a calcareous extremely rich fen. Yes, so it also fits very well in this. And some examples of these mosses, how they look like in an environment. And the last stage, it is the stage where Sarmentypnum exanulatum is dominating, and this species is show tendency to acidophilic. It is acidophilic. Can we say so? This is a time when I need your help because yes, I don't feel so deep knowledge about this ecology of this species. But yes, if this is like that, then we can propose like this is the stage of moderately rich fen. And also, what is interesting, in the upper part of this fourth stage, we have Aula comnium palustre, Helodium blandovis, so a little bit drier conditions of the fen, perhaps with some elevated stands. So quite nice changes fitting to our zonation. And also, I can add maybe 2 words on identification of this species. In case of this Kaliergon, for example, the identification for me when I'm like a newcomer to this type of analysis, this wing cells of the leaf is very like diagnostic for Kaliergon. I think also Sarmentypnum exanulatum with these wing cells is friendly for identification, and there were many more examples of species of mosses. Yes, so this is how during this stay in Brno this identification was supplemented by bryophytes, and this helps really now to correlate these two profiles to two sides. This is very preliminary correlation, and first view from the point of loss on ignition analysis, how these two profiles of changes in organic matter content, how they fit to each other. I also add here the chronology from Greenland ice cores with this division for climatic oscillations, Belling, Older Dryas, Alleret, and these are the whole profile here. Yeah, so this is very well visible that for Belling, Older Dryas, Alleret, these are pretty similar stages of development, some from minerogenic accumulation in the water body environment, in case of Kotoń, then some substage of this shallow water body with a lot of vegetation, and the fen stage. And in case of Klaklowo, it's a little bit different in the stage of Alleret when we have water body again after the Older Dryas fen. And maybe from some other point of view of these local stages of development, again, Klaklowo and Kotoń, what is what? Yes, so we have stage number 1 correlated with stage number 1 of Klaklowo. Yes, so they both fit also with the time span. So this is Belling according to this interpretation. Stage number 2, water body in Kotoń, steppe tundra around, and Klaklowo, short-lasting fen, steppe tundra. But in both cases, we can see that this water body of Belling, it shallowed in both cases. However, the record is a little bit different. And then again in Alleret, we have a little bit different story, that in case of Kotoń, it is directly fen stage with some calcareous extremely rich fen at the beginning and later moderately rich fen. And then again, then also is a start of boreal forest development in this area. So Pinus and Betula appears, and at the same time, this boreal forest expansion is now recorded in Klaklowo. So the main difference is only that beginning of Aleret in Klaklowo, it is the water body, and only then this aquatic succession takes place. So in other words, we have Haradze here in Kotoń, but we have Haradze here in Klaklowo. And these are local changes. And to sum up this, a lot of text, I will only tell what is the most important. So thanks to the fact that we obtained a good chronology for both profiles, a chronology which time span is about 14,500 to 13,500 calibrated years before present, we could compare these both profiles. And yes, in Belling, both sites were like very severe conditions, water bodies with rather no organic sedimentation, and also no macrofossil assemblages collected. And it is correlated with Belling climate warming. And these both water bodies in both places, they experienced shallowing during older dryas. But in case of Kotoń, it is shallowing, still some shallow water body with a huge aquatic plants succession. In case of Klaklowo, it is shallow, short-lasting fen. I should not say shallow, but this is a short-lasting fen. And then in Aleret, we have water body too in Klaklowo and fen in Kotoń. But what is also similar is that arrival of Betula pubescens to both sides is pretty the same age in both sides, and also later Pinus sylvestris. And there is also another similarity, which I didn't show. I showed only for Klaklowo that there is no poolen in the bottom of Klaklowo, but there is also no poolen in the bottom of Kotoń in the same time interval during Belling, or maybe also the oldest dryas, which we could not date it. So these are some regional conditions, regional changes. And I guess this is the question for the further research as well. So with this, now I will stop, and I will again ask, say thank you to the funding sources of this internship and this project. I really thank you for coming, for listening to this short, not so short lecture. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. We have a lot of time for discussion. This could be also very basic questions. I hope I can answer to all of them. Thank you.
Thanks, Jola, for a very nice lecture. Very illustrative, I think.
I will skip here.
And now it's time for discussion.
Thank you, Jola. It was really interesting, and I think especially for the students, it was very instructive. So especially those of students who are not familiar with paleoecology, I think they have now quite good idea how paleoecological reconstruction is being performed. So thank you for this. And my major question is, we've seen a reconstruction of some dynamics of vegetation in the late glacial, and I wonder how to distinguish between climatically driven changes of vegetation and succession after the landslide, or perhaps succession after the end of the last glacial maximum, because my feeling was that some patterns that you have shown were like illustration of some succession after the landslide.
I have to ask, what do you mean by succession after landslide? Like there is a new environment created, and this is normal that vegetation starts to like, yeah. Yes, this is very good question, because this requires correlation with other sites as well. I think this is the way we can put it to some regional framework. So this is also done. I didn't show any of this correlation with, we have extra regional correlation with NGRIP, yes, with this Greenland ice cores. There is a challenge in this, that there is not many sites with this late glacial sequence. The closest one is in Orava Nowy Targ basin. These are how is it called today? These huge peatlands of Orava. Yes, for example, yes, we have the site which is called Grail, and there is really like a full late glacial sequence. So this is going to be compared also with that, and see if, for example, this arrival time of Pinus betula, it is synchronous in also in other sites, because we can see that it is synchronous in case of Klaklowo and Kotoń. So this could be the regional pattern of boreal forest development in this site. But as you mentioned, this is right, that actually both landslides, they were created at similar times. So it could be also like overlapped, or this both imprints could merge in this. So I think we can distinguish this only by comparing with more sites. The closest, the better, but this is really a huge scarcity of the sites with the late glacial record. But we have some sites from Slovakia, from Czech Republic, so I hope this is a matter of time to find some answers to that.
I think the Welling period was climatically quite suitable for forests, so I was surprised
Yes.
to see that you reconstruct open steppe tundra vegetation in this period. And my explanation would be that this was a post-landslide success
Yes.
in the open landscape, rather than like climatically driven vegetation.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very good clue. This is very good observation, which also we have in our like a spectrum of solutions. I can say that this billing bottommost part is the most questionable, because also no macrofossils, no pollen in some of the cores. We are also trying to have in mind that even though these environments were very small lakes or fens, they still can have quite big diversity in some microhabitats at the very beginning, because then still the topography of the bottom of this depression could be very diverse, and this accumulation of deposits was not like homogeneous across the whole. Yes, so this belling is quite a challenge. I would also interpret it as a forest, but no pollen, no macrofossils. This is a question. But this is definitely one of the main points to look at a local environment then. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, other questions?
comments to previous question of Roleček, that the landslides could be connected with the permafrost degradation in the upper mountains, and another reason for the starting of the landslides could be caused by the retreating of the continental glaciation in northern Poland and the so-called glacial isostatic movements generally, because it's connected with the earthquake evidence in the Sudety and the Carpathian range, of course. And and I have two questions. First is if you have visible the human impact in the late Holocene in this area, and yes.
So basically we have a lot of glacial, and then around 1 meter depth, it is the Holocene period starts to be visible in Pula and in other lakes. And also we have a lot of organic, of mineralogic matter accumulation. And there were like in the profile we found no evidence for human. And also in this area, according to what I know, there was no like sites, archaeological sites in the closest vicinity of this range. But I cannot say because the Holocene is not the main aim of this project. I cannot say for sure that no sites of human activity.
Yeah. Yes, and I would dare to ask another question to Holocene part of your both sequences. If you have the geochemistry record and the palynological record, is possible to reconstruct the changes in the soil development in the catchment area of both sites? Yes. The changes in the soil cover, it could be linked with the changes of the forest composition.
I definitely, what I can now say is that, of course, this project is now, already there is another one preparation, and all these like further wider aspects, including also soil development and what is going on in the catchment, they are in our like spectrum of topics. So definitely we will, of course we have also the cooperation with the soil science scientists from the university and but this is the
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? No questions? Huh?
Thank you for the nice talk. I was just wondering and curious about this landslide fan that I came from the Alps, so are less abundant, and I always saw them in the glacier depressions very often. And so I want to ask you, are these an exceptional case to find these fans linked to a landslide, or are common in the Carpathians?
in our region, they are quite common. Outer Western Carpathians and for instance, but not only, of course, the landslide trends as well in Czech Republic and Slovakia. But I cannot say like maybe this is more your question to Petra, and to me how many of them. But on the Polish side, there are like I think several dozens of this kind of environments.
probably my side of the Alps on the west. Yes. Thank you.
So, are there any question? Other question?
Maybe you can comment how this Treponoclaus trichophilus story is important?
Yeah, I am prepared to comment this. No, this Treponoclaus Vansdorfia or Sarmentipnum trichophilum. There are changes in nomenclature. Taxonomists work very intensively on that. I don't know any other fossil record of this moss from the, let's say, Central Europe or temperate Europe. I know this species from tundra, from Siberia, near ocean, so it's really cold demanding species from small pools in tundra. And this identification was verified by Swedish specialist Lars Hedenes, so we are pretty sure that it is really Vansdorfia trichophila. So I think it's very nice record. And maybe I would like to comment this succession. I think this succession from water environment to small hammock fens. Yeah, it's I would say it's autogenic succession, infilling of water body and accumulation of peat and from yes, autogenic succession from calcium-rich fen to calcium poorer, so moderately rich fen. So it's very nice succession, which is probably not driven by climate, I would say, but maybe from in the case of Klaklowo, this short lasting fen was switched again to water body. It could be climate moistening. It can be climate driven. So I think it's a combination of both the drivers. Yeah. And it's I think it's really very exceptional record because it's maybe 2 meters of sediments accumulated within 1,000 of years in the late glacial. So I think there are not many similar records with this high resolution. So it's very nice. Some question? Martin, geochemistry? Nothing. So thank you to Jola again, and yeah.